Alright, we should be live. Hello. My name's Kieran, obviously Red Devil Weekly. We're here to do the Manchester United vs Roma first leg of the Europa League semi-final preview. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it immensely. Probably the biggest game of this season. I'm not going to lie to you. It's probably the biggest game of this season. But I want your thoughts on it. You know, obviously that's what I put in the title, but I want you guys to tell me what you think of that. Is it the biggest game of our season so far, or have we had bigger tests? Let me know. But welcome to everyone who's already joined us. Thanks for joining, Brendan. Appreciate it. We'll get to all of your comments in just a second. But as I said, as usual, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well if you are new around here, and also make sure you do leave your thoughts in the comment section down below if you're watching as a video. We do really enjoy interacting with your comments, so please do get your thoughts in the comment section down below if you're watching on the replay. Sounds good. Let's get into it. Thanks, Matthew, as well for joining. Appreciate it. Matthew says, why bother doing a preview? Owen already told us the game will be comfortable. Yeah, well, you know, he did say that. Obviously, if you want to, rewind and go watch the review of the Leeds game, he said that the Roma game will be a easier game than the Leeds game. So, his words, not mine. So we'll see what happens. But Dazza, thanks for joining as well, Dazza. Appreciate it. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I'm doing well. Make sure to check out his channel as well. Brilliant stuff over there on Dazza's Football Stand. So make sure you do check out his channel if you haven't already. And Brendan saying I should get Owen on early. He's saying I should get Owen on early. Well, listen, if anyone wants to come on, I can put the link in. No problem at all. We will have people on this stream. I just want to say as well, the reason I've chosen to go a bit early today is because I will be live on another channel at 9 o'clock. So that's usually obviously when I stream. So I'm going to be live on another channel at 9 o'clock. So make sure you get on the link in the description down below to the channel. And yeah, we're going to be previewing, I think it'll be kind of a preview to this game, and also a preview to a potential clash between us and Arsenal if we both make it through to the final. So I'll be live on that channel. So if you want to check it out at 9 PM, the link is in the description down below. And that's why I've gone early. So I've just, that's my explanation for it. That's why I've gone a bit early today. But we'll start by looking at Roma. Because obviously they're an opponent that United have obviously famously faced in the Champions League a few times under Sir Alex Ferguson, fairly recently I guess you could say, and we have a decent record, especially in European games. So we're just going to start with what Roma have done this season, and Roma currently sits 7th in the Serie A on 55 points, 10 points away from even Europa League qualification. So they're not exactly in the best position in the league, and I think they will see the Europa League as their biggest opportunity to make it into the Champions League, which makes this tie even spicier, let's be honest, because they're not going to want to go out. This is their big chance. This is their big moment. We can go through in the top 4. We've pretty much got that in the bag. I mean, I don't want to preempt anything, but I think an 11-point gap with 5 games to go, we should be comfortable in that top 4. Roma obviously don't have that, so this is their be-all and end-all, really. This Europa League is their be-all and end-all, so it puts a little bit of a twist on it. I think it puts a lot more pressure on them, but it does mean that they're going to come out swinging, no doubt about that. They're going to come out with all the determination in the world to get to the Champions League, to get to the final. And also, I think they will see Arsenal and they'll see Villarreal and say, if we get to the final, we're not going to be playing any world beaters here. Arsenal are doing shockingly in the league. Villarreal obviously aren't doing too badly, but they're not any sort of world beaters. So whoever gets to the final from this game, either us or Roma, I think will be the favourites for that final, and they'll fancy their chances. So it's a big game. It's a big game, and obviously this is only the first leg. This is their away leg as well. So any goals they score at Old Trafford will count as away goals, and away goals are huge, as we've seen. In the last few games in the Europa League, we've got our job done early. We've had our away legs first, and we've been able to score 2+ goals in those away legs. If you do that, it makes the second leg so much easier. So I think Roma are going to be looking to do that big time, and that's something we've got to kind of be wary of, and I think Roma will be looking to make advantage of the home leg, and we should be looking to make advantage as well. But obviously, because there's no fans, there's not really that advantage. If both sides had their fans winning them on, then I think there'd be a massive advantage. But of this time, there's not really that sort of advantage, and that's why we've been much better away from home than we have been at home this season. So that's how it is. But yeah, I think they've won 1 in their last 5 in the league. As I said, their form in the Serie A has been shocking. It's been absolutely shocking, really. But it seems like they just don't care about it anymore. They know they're pretty well out of the race for top 4 or even the Europa League spot. So this is their be-all and end-all. As I said, this is their kind of last chance saloon. To get to this position, they beat Shakhtar Donetsk 5-2 on aggregate to go through. And Shakhtar Donetsk are a decent side. I mean, they produce talent such as Fred. I mean, come on. Just Fred, I think. I was going to say William, but I think William came from some other place. So, they produce talents. So, if Roma have been doing well in the Europa League, they seem like a little bit of the cup side. They do seem like a little bit cup side. Got through against young boys as well. So they've beaten some decent teams to get to where they are. They beat some decent teams, but at the same time, we are the favourites for this game. There's no doubt about it. We're the favourites, but it's just about, kind of not taking your opponents lightly, because they've got some decent players we know of, players we played against and who have played for Manchester United, of course. We'll get to that in a second. I think we can't take this lightly. Dazza here says, good side, can be a tough nut to crack at times. Ajax even struggled. Well, yeah, listen, as I said, in the Europa League, they've done well. They've had to beat some fairly decent teams to get to where they are. So they've had a decent time in the Europa League. Obviously, they've just kind of chucked the league form out of the window. They've kind of gone sod the league. We've just got to go for the Europa League. And, I mean, you can't blame them, really, looking at where they are. So it's going to be a difficult game. I think it's going to be much more difficult than any of the tests we face. And I know Ajax are AC Milan we played are obviously like kind of in the running for that Champions League spot. But realistically, Roma here, the fact they've got to the semi-final, any team that's got to the semi-final, you can't disrespect. You can't disrespect. So we've got to be. I mean, as Brendan says, yeah, obviously the Ajax side wasn't great. Obviously they've taken all their major talents out. De Jong, Van der Beek, of course, who can't even get a game for us, and De Ligt as well. So they've taken all their, and Ziyech, of course. So they're not the team that they were when they got to the Champions League semi-final. No doubt about it. But they're still not a bad side, and you've got to beat what's in front of you, and especially in these tournaments, it's not a given that you go through. Yes, on paper, for example, in this game, we should win it pretty comfortably. Looking at our league position, looking at our form compared to theirs, we should win it pretty comfortably. But it never works like that. So I always give credit where credit's due. Going through in a competition, you've got to play who's in front of you, and that's why you can't underestimate their achievement. You really can't. Beware of Chris Smalling. Yeah, obviously, as I was talking about, there's a few players that have played for United, a few players that we played against as well. Obviously, the two that have played for United, you probably also heard, Henrik Mikytaryan and Chris Smalling. Both have played for Manchester United in the past. Both have had fairly, Mikytaryan didn't really work out, but I actually thought Chris Smalling was a decent servant for us. He obviously went out on loan to Roma, then made his move permanent, and it's worked out well for both clubs, I think, because our defence has probably got stronger since he left, and I think Roma's defence has got better since he came. So, for both parties, it's been a good move. But obviously Mikytaryan as well, I feel like he's probably doing better in Roma than he was in the Premier League. Didn't really do well for Arsenal, didn't really do well for us either. I just think the Serie A, the Bundesliga, these sort of leagues is the right fit for a player like him. He's not really equipped for the Premier League, and it kind of showed in the way he played. And some people say that it was Jose Mourinho and the way he played that didn't suit Mikytaryan, but to be honest with you, he played under Emery as well. Emery couldn't get the best out of him, so I think at some point you've got to start pointing fingers at the player and not just the manager and the systems that he's playing in. But obviously, I'm sure he's set up to score against us. I'm sure him and Chris Smalling are set up to do a madness against us. There's no doubt about it. Owen, thanks for joining. Says the way the fans gave Roma team a send off to play against Daniel James and Fred made me laugh. Well, I mean, it just shows how passionate they are. It just shows how much they want this trophy, how much they want to win this tournament, which is a little bit worrying, I'm not going to lie. I mean, obviously, you can't just kind of get worried about that. In the end of the day, every team's going to want to beat you, especially when you're Manchester United. Every team will be out to get you. But in the end of the day, that's the sort of thing that you can see in semi-finals. And we've even seen it from the likes of Liverpool trashing team buses and stuff. So it's nothing new. But I understand where you're coming from a little bit. And Brendan says there were 7 different players to the Ajax side that reached the semis in the Champions League. Basically a different team. Exactly. They've all kind of, the heart's been ripped out of that team. Most of their decent players have been harvested. Very similar to the Monaco team that made it to the semi-final, where I think Benjamin Mendy, Fabinho, Mbappe, all these guys just got harvested. They got culled from that team, and then the team was just left to shadow its former self. But this is the problem. These sort of teams are just feeder teams for the bigger clubs, and it's going to remain that way. I'm telling you. But anyway, as I said, we've talked a little bit about Roma, the backstory. Obviously, we played Roma before in the Champions League or in European competition. We've got a very good record against them. I don't think we've ever actually gone out to Roma in European competition. Obviously, we haven't met them in the Europa League, but I don't think we've actually gone out to them. But that was years ago. That was probably, probably over 10 years ago now since we met Roma. So, it's one of those ones where it's a bit of an unknown entity. And before this season they had a few decent campaigns in the Champions League. Obviously played Liverpool and Chelsea, and I think they went out to both of those teams, but they've got a fairly decent record against English teams in one-off matches. So. And then they've got players, obviously, that's played in the Premier League, that's played against these sort of teams. So you can't just kind of rule them out. As I said, in the end of the day, we should be beating these. We should be beating them, but you can't rule it out, especially in European competition. Thanks for joining, Tenzin. Appreciate it. I don't actually know what any of your comments are saying, but cheers for joining anyway. Appreciate it. And I'm trying not to, Brendan. I'm trying not to. That's not something we do here. I try to steer away from those sort of comments on purpose, just so I don't get clipped up. But we talked a little about Roma. We're going to talk about Manchester United now. And I have got a lineup out. I'm actually prepared this time. I've actually got a lineup to show you. I've actually got a predicted lineup. I usually just go off the top of my head, or usually just kind of go off somebody else's comments. But let me know your thoughts on the lineup. Let me know who you would choose. Let me know who you think Ole's going to choose. Either or even both would be brilliant if you could do both. Let us know in the live chat and the comment section down below as well. But I have got a predicted 11 to show you as well in just a few moments, which will have my predicted 11. And this is what I think Ole's going to pick, because I think sometimes some of you guys get a bit confused. This is the team that I think Ole is actually going to select for this game. It's not kind of a team that I would choose personally. There's definitely a few choices in the team I made which I wouldn't make, but thinking about Ole, looking at what he's picked throughout the season, this is the sort of team that I would go with. So I'll be showing you that in a few minutes. But let me know your thoughts on who you play, who you'd start in this game. And I guess the first thing I want to talk about is the press conference, because obviously that came out today. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was talking. Luke Shaw was next to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Pretty good indication that Luke Shaw's going to be starting. And to be honest with you, that's not too much of a surprise. But yeah, Luke Shaw for me has had a brilliant season, probably one of his best seasons. I think he feels like it's been his best season in a Manchester United shirt, and probably I could vouch for that. I could definitely vouch for that. He's been brilliant, and I think he's definitely going to start. That's one that's just kind of nailed on. I think there's a few that's nailed on, but that's definitely one that's got to be nailed on. And obviously kept Alex Telles out of a place, and Alex Telles came in as that competition almost to replace Luke Shaw, but he's kept him out, and that is something which you love to see. I'm not saying that I don't want to see Alex Telles play, because obviously I'd love to see him get game time, but I do like the fact that he's risen to that competition. Weak-minded players would just say, oh, another player's coming to take my place, I'm going to sack it off. But he actually said, you know what, I'm better than this. I'm going to make sure that I step up my game, play week in, week out, quality week in, week out, and that's what he's done. So, fair play to Luke Shaw, and obviously he's overcome a lot of stick, I have to say, on social media, to be honest, because he is someone who's been called, basically people say he was fat, people say he wasn't as fit as maybe he was when he first joined. Obviously he's had injury trouble as well, so it's good to see he's come through that. But yeah, obviously Luke Shaw probably going to be starting in this team, and I just think the way we need to play is we need to be on the front foot. I think we need to make this leg count, and the first leg is always the big leg in these ties. I know the second leg is where the result of the whole tie gets decided usually, but the first leg is where you do the setup work. You're not going to go through if you have a really poor first leg, or most of the time you don't go through if you have a really poor first leg. Obviously we've overturned poor first legs before, but it's actually very, very difficult to do that. So realistically, we need to make it count, and I know we're poor at home, and this is what I'm saying, this is where we need to play almost our best, because we play really well away from home. That seems to be a bit of a given right now. But at home, we need to shore up. We need to be defensively sound. If we can keep a clean sheet from this game, I think it's a win for us. And I know, obviously, you'd probably say that if you're going away from home. But I think at home, if you can keep a clean sheet at home and not allow them to score any away goals, we're going to be in the driving seat. because if we score an away goal, suddenly makes the tie a whole lot more difficult for them. So, the fact that we play much better away from home, we've got to keep it tight. We've got to keep it tight at home. And if we do that, I think we'll go through. And as we've done in the ties against Granada and against Real Sociedad, we did the hard work in the first leg. And it takes all the pressure off in that second leg. It means the players don't have the weight on their shoulders of having to take risks from minute one. We can kind of, get into the game at our pace. We can dictate the game a bit more because we're in the driving seat. But when you're kind of already having to come from behind from the first leg, you're fighting an uphill battle already. And obviously we've been able to come over that in the last few European outings. But, it's one of those ones where it's difficult. It's very, very difficult. You can't keep doing it. It's like coming back from behind. You can come back from behind a certain amount of times, but there will be that one time where you fall short. So that's the problem. Just Joel Glazers joining us. Thanks for joining, Joel. Appreciate it, mate. He says, I've accepted a £50 bid from... I'm not even going to read that. What is that? What is that comment? Anyway, do us all a favour and fuck off. Dazza says, United fans breaking into the Woodward's house. Come on, man. I know our board are a load of balls, but we're better than that. I mean, it kind of happened before, obviously, with all the fireworks and stuff happening outside. Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing. It is disappointing, but, in the end of the day, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm surprised it's happened only now. I thought it was happening ages ago, to be honest. But yeah, obviously, that sort of thing isn't ideal. It's not ideal. I can understand the fans' point of view wanting to get their point across. I completely stand behind the fans, and I stand behind the point they want to get across. But obviously, violence and threatening and stuff is it's not right, really. It's not right. Matthew's asking, give Donny a game, he says. Give Donny... Well, we'll see in a minute if I've chosen Donny van der Beek in my predicted starting 11. To be honest with you, I doubt it, considering that, looking at all the games, all the big games that Ollie's picked teams for this season, Donny van der Beek hasn't got a sniff, mate. Donny van der Beek is not going the team. And as I said, this is the team that I predict that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to put out. Not a team that I would put out. And to be honest with you, I'd love to see Van der Beek, Pogba and Bruno in the midfield. But we're not going to see it because Ollie's going to want to be defensive. And in some ways, I can get on board with that in some ways. But anyway, I'll read a few more comments and I'll show you my predicted 11 for the game. Dan says, let's hope no one gets injured. We have Scousers on Sunday and we have to beat them. Well, yeah, I mean, listen, obviously the Premier League is probably a lesser priority right now. We need to play our strongest 11 this game, there's no doubt about it. I mean, we need to be as strong as possible for this one. I wouldn't even mind if we rested a few players against Liverpool, because even though we could drop down from second, I think top four is pretty much secured, unless we kind of go on a losing streak of 3 or 4 games, and even then, the other teams around us have to win. It's very unlikely that we're going to bottle top 4. So, realistically, I would not mind playing a full-strength side in this game if it meant we rest players for Liverpool. And I know that kind of goes against the whole nature of United versus Liverpool, the rivalry, and being strong and honouring that rivalry by playing 2 strong teams. But realistically, we're in a cup competition, and it is what it is. Obviously, if this was a few games before, if this was the game in midweek, if this was in the slot that we had Leeds, then yeah, of course we could play a full-strength side. But I don't think we will play a full-strength side, to be honest. I don't think we will. Brennan says, breaking, Liverpool is less important than reaching the EFL Europa League final. Exactly, it is. Joel says, do me a favour and win a real trophy. None of this second-tier Wi-Fi password dubstep theme song Thursday night trophies. I don't even know what to say to that. Mate. Owen says, you rather us draw 0-0 than win. That's absolute bollocks. What you're saying is bollocks, mate. Don't even try me with that. But anyway, alright, I'm going to show you my 11. I'm going to show you my 11 now because I've been teasing it for too long. So there it is. I'll give you a moment to drink that in. I'll give you a moment to savour it. I mean, as I said, it's not the most exciting lineup. You've got Rashford on the left, Cavani up front, Greenwood on the right-hand side. Back four that picks itself, really. I've gone with De Gea in goal because I think that, looking at who he played against Granada, De Gea played both times. I think De Gea will be the Europa League goalkeeper, and I think Henderson being the Premier League goalkeeper, to me, Henderson's number one. Henderson is number one. I think De Gea has probably told Solskjaer that he's off. And I think that's why David De Gea is going to be starting. You got Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof and Shaw. As I said, it pretty well picks itself. I have gone with McFred behind Bruno Fernandes. And I know some of you won't be happy with that. But as I said, this is a predicted 11. This is not my 11. This is a predicted 11 of people that I think are going to be in this side. And, I think Ole will go with that because it's a big game. It's a big semi-final. His neck is on the line a little bit here. And I know he's not going to get sacked if we don't win the Europa League or anything. But 5 semi-finals, if we bottle 5 semi-finals under this guy, the faith that fans are going to have him in will be slowly dwindling away. I think this is a massive opportunity now. Obviously, we played Sevilla. It was a one-off game. Things can happen in one-off games. But when you've got 2 legs, there is no excuse. There is absolutely no excuse. And I think this lineup is what he'll go with, honestly. I was toying with the idea of putting Pogba on the left, maybe. But I think he will go with Rashford. Because Rashford, he played against Leeds 85 minutes. And obviously, Ole came out in the press conference today and said he was fine. And you can't deny that Rashford's one of Ole's favourites. He loves playing Rashford on that left-hand side. Even if he's got, 2 limbs missing, he'd probably still play him. So that's what we're dealing with here with Rashford. But I still think he can offer something in the game. I don't think he played his best game against Leeds, to be honest. But in the Europa League, he's doing well. He scored in both the Sociedad game and obviously the Granada game as well. He's got a very, very good Europa League record. So I think, looking at it, I think if I was to predict, I think he will be on the left-hand side. I think Edison Cavani obviously got rested against Leeds, only brought on in the last 5 minutes because we were trying to, get the winner. He'll be up front. He's in a decent vein of form as well. And Mason Greenwood on the right-hand side. I actually think Mason Greenwood is better on the right-hand side than he is going through the middle. You can find me on that all you like. Let me know your thoughts in the live chat, comment section down below. Am I wrong? Please tell me if I'm wrong. But for me, Greenwood is better on that right-hand side. So that's my lineup. Let me know your thoughts. I see a few comments are coming in already. Let me know. Keep them coming. Even if you disagree with me, let me know. So no Donny then. Are we meant to believe you aren't a Glazer disciple? No, I'm predicting what Solskjaer's going to pick. Has he regularly picked Donny van der Beek in any game this season? No, he hasn't. Apart from the first few games of the season, Van der Beek has not got a sniff. So why on earth would I put him in a predicted lineup? Come on, man. Come on, you're better than this. Brendan says, we don't need to do Liverpool's work for them. They'll sink themselves. Why risk our season? Exactly. Dudley says, Van der Beek will leave at the end of the season. He never plays. I actually think he'll stay. I think Van der Beek will give it one more season. If we treat him like we do this season, I think he will have to leave. Because, football players' careers are small. They're not long. And, he is a quality player, Van der Beek. In the right system, in the right position, he will be very, very effective. And whether Solskjaer thinks it'll be for this team or whether he thinks he's not going to fit in, then time will tell. But for me, I think he will stay another season. Whether after that he'll leave will obviously depend on how much game time he gets. Owen also says, no Pogba in big game. Do you watch us in big games this season? I have actually, to be honest with you, mate. I have been watching. And I know Pogba's a big influence, but I just think, where are you going to fit him in this team? Obviously, if Rashford plays, Pogba's not going to be playing. If Rashford's going to be starting, which I think we can all kind of agree that, Ole, if Rashford's fit enough, he will be picking Rashford on that left-hand side. Where does he fit in? He's not a defensive midfielder. Fernandes is always going to play in that kind of central attacking midfield role. Where does he fit in? Unless you put, Pogba where McTominay is, maybe. But still, I don't think that's his best position. But that's the only way. I think if you could put Pogba where McTominay is, that's the only difference. Dada says Pogba could be rested for the Liverpool game. He could have been. But I mean, as I said, Dazza, I don't even think we need to. I don't think we need to play our strongest team against Liverpool. I don't. Owen says, you were buzzing with that, weren't you? If he did play in that game, we wouldn't be sat in the sodding Europa. We'd be playing tonight. Oh yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to lie. Matthew, you did say some questionable stuff. I'm not going to lie. You did say some questionable stuff when 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 it was rumoured that Pogba was going to be leaving and stuff, and obviously that was the day just before the Leipzig game. You did say some questionable stuff. I can't lie. You did. Joel, well, cheers, Joel, for your vote of confidence. I mean, it's the only thing you provide in the last 8 years. He says, good luck, lads, you better win. Didn't splash £80 million for a poor man's Rio Ferdinand for nothing. Oh, my God. Right. Well, cheers, Joel. Appreciate it, mate. Appreciate you coming on. That P45 really couldn't come soon enough, mate. Brennan says, what did you do last night? Well, I pretended to be Joel Glazer on YouTube. # fun. I know, man. But yeah, people are going to do what they're going to do, you know. It's their life. They can do whatever they want. I mean, in the end of the day, listen, if he wants to come on and you know, watch the show, I don't mind. Honestly, it's an extra viewer. I honestly don't mind. As long as they're not abusive. It's kind of funny, so I don't care. But anyway, right. That is my team prediction. We'll come back to that, but I will put the link in the live chat if people want to come on and have their say. As I said, I will reiterate this. I won't be live for, that long, because I'm going to be going live at 9 o'clock on Let's Talk Premier League to do a bit of a Europa League preview, just talk a bit about the Europa League in general. So I'll be live on their channel because they've kindly invited me to come on. The link's in the description down below as well. If you want to check out that channel, make sure you do check it out at 9. And then obviously you've got the Champions League as well, starting at 8. And PSG Man United is massive. Absolutely massive, that game. I wish it was PSG Man United. PSG Man City, sorry. PSG Man City. But obviously that's a massive first leg. I'm hoping for a PSG masterclass. I'm hoping Poch can do a number on Pep, get a bit of revenge for the last time they met in the Champions League. So yeah, I'm obviously going to be watching it. I'll only be watching the first bit of it, obviously, because I'll be on the stream for the second bit. But let's add a few guests here. Let's spice it up a little bit as we usually do on the channel. And we've got Dazza already in. Dazza, always good to have you. Make sure to check out Dazza's Football Stand as well. Brilliant content over there. But you guys already know that. Dazza, hope you're doing well on this Wednesday evening. Going into the game, obviously, I know you're someone who doesn't like to underestimate sides, and obviously Roma is a team that is pretty clear you can't underestimate. How do you see this first leg going?
It'd be difficult. Obviously, we couldn't have asked for a much tougher semi-final. Either Ajax or Roma, I think we'd struggle against either of them, really. So. But going into the game, actually, this was when the draw was made that I was thinking, we could get knocked out here, blah, blah. Roma aren't as strong as a lot of people think. They're sort of in the middle, really. You can't underestimate them, at the same time you can't overestimate them either. They're a bit of a... Sometimes they can be a bit of a banana skin for some teams. They've been a banana skin for one or two teams in the Serie A. And obviously they beat Ajax, and I think Ajax were the favourites going into that game because Ajax have a really strong side. But Roma, for me, really good team. Edin dzeko obviously plays with them. Henrik Mikytaryan, Chris Smalling, a few former United players. They've got some really good players in that team, and they're going to be a tough nut to crack, I think.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. I think Roma are a side that they're a cup team this season. I mean, they're form in the league. I think they've, as I said at the start, 1 out of 5. Their form in the league this season has been really poor, but they've got the players that can hurt us. There's no doubt about that. Edin dzeko up front. He's been a marksman for them for the last few seasons, pretty well ever since he joined Roma. Obviously, you've got the former United players as well who'll be looking to hurt us. But as I said, you can't underestimate any team. I totally agree with you on that one. I'm going to add Owen. I'm hoping this is Owen because I don't know. There are definitely. I mean, I just have trust issues with this system now. Yeah, I've got trust issues with this whole system. But we'll ask you the same question, Owen, if that is indeed you. Going into the game, obviously. Going in. Oh, I hope so. By the way, Rich, thank you for joining as well. Thank the Lord. Well, thanks for joining, Rich, as well. Appreciate it. As I said, I am going live a bit earlier because I will be live on another channel at 9 p.m. So make sure you do check it out in the link in the description down below to their channel. Make sure you go over there. I'll watch the first bit of it, and then I'll be on that channel. Yeah, I know, but it doesn't matter. I'll watch the second leg. But anyway, moving aside from that, we're talking about the premier European competition, which is the Europa League, and obviously we're playing Roma tomorrow night. We're playing Roma tomorrow night. Owen, how are you feeling going into the game? You confident?
Yeah, me, pretty confident. I don't really see much trouble for us in either leg. I think I think, going away to where they play, the Stadio Olimpico, is it?
Yep.
Stadio Olimpico.
Yeah, when we go over there, I don't see anything other than a comfort win for us. So, I mean, if this first leg is their only chance to get a glove on us, really, and I don't think they will do with McTominay in midfield. I mean, I'm surprised they haven't put Donny van der Beek in there. It's the perfect game to play him in, because this game should be the game we should rest players for Liverpool, because this is as far as I'm concerned, this tie is a foregone conclusion, and I think there's nothing that can go wrong from this point. We'll win the Europa League champions.
Well,
so you're saying
we could lose the final to bloody Arsenal?
No, Arsenal won't make the final. Gerard Moreno and Unai Emery will knock Arsenal out. It's written in the stars.
So Owen, can I just, Owen, yeah, well they did indeed. But can I just confirm something? So you're trying to say that this tie is practically over before it even started, and we should be resting players for the Premier League, where realistically we've got top four already sorted. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I personally don't like the Scousers, and I would quite like to.
None of us do, mate. None of us do.
I would quite like to put the Scousers into the Europa League next season, if you don't mind. And I think the best way of doing that is to rest our players in this game.
Yes.
And I truly believe that we could beat Roma with our second string side.
Okay, Matthew's asking, why are you sparring with the gods, Owen? Why are you sparring with the... You're tempting fate, mate. You're trying to...
Why are they sparring me? That's what they have to ask themselves. Why are they bothering sparring me?
Right, we've got a question. Before we come back to Daryl, we have got a question from Rich for Owen. Is De Gea or Hendo tomorrow?
I mean, in some ways, it could be a different...
It'll be De Gea.
I mean, it's not as easy a decision as that for me. I think that, De Gea... Do you play him in the Mickey Mouse games to keep him happy, or do you play your number one and keep your number one in goals? And I firmly believe De Gea should get no game time. Should Dean Henderson, if he's your number one, which he should be playing across the board. De Gea, unfortunately, he's been bested by a younger, fitter man, and I think Henderson should start in goal. But you know what? Because of Mickey Mouse game, I'd give Henderson the night off, prepare for the old Scousers, and De Gea can go and goal.
All right. So you're saying, go on, Daryl.
Against Liverpool, you want to start your strongest keeper. For me, I know Dean Henderson's played against Liverpool and done well. When it's United Liverpool, that's mostly David De Gea starting. So for me, I think David De Gea will start against Liverpool. I'd actually rather De Gea start against Liverpool and give Dean Henderson a game tonight, because it gives Henderson a bit of a rest as well, and ready for the second leg.
So for you, Daryl, just to clear it up as well. So for you, are you like on the same train as Owen, where Henderson's number one, or are you kind of? Are you still deciding who's number one, or do you still think David De Gea is the alpha?
Personally, De Gea rightly is the number one keeper, but he's lost his place obviously because of having to leave for life.
His kid, yeah.
At the start of next season, for his wife, whatever. Next season, Henderson will probably be the number one keeper. But for the minute, De Gea should really be getting more game time than Henderson, because he's the main number one. It just seems like De Gea's not being able to get a place, which in fairness is wrong, because he should be in goal ahead of Henderson in the Premier League games. He started practically every Premier League game until he left, and then Henderson started each one. It's difficult, because I don't think De Gea deserves to be left out of the team in the Premier League. He's one of the people who's got us to where we are now. We were second before Dean Henderson even stepped foot in United goal in the Prem. So I think we need to be playing De Gea a lot more than we are. For the minute, fair enough. Europa League games, fair enough. But he needs to get back to Premier League action because that's where he belongs. So he doesn't belong in goal in Europa League. Dean Henderson really should be in that. Oh well, even League One, but that's not gonna happen, is it?
Well, Rich is asking how many appearances needed to get a medal if we win. So maybe Rich is hinting there. Give Lee Grant a game. Give him a few games. Get him a medal.
Lee Grant in the final.
Well,
Get him a medal.
You only need to appear in one game, don't you?
They can't come on as a sub.
So you don't need to appear in many for a medal.
Yeah, we should do that. We should do that.
What I would say about De Gea...
I mean, I don't think League Grant would start against Roma. You're asking for trouble starting League Grant. If you saw League Grant against Derby, he was woeful.
He was with a penalty shot. He didn't get anywhere near him. He was like Peter Shelton.
Some great penalties, by the way, on that game.
Guess the right way, and then just he couldn't get there because his legs gave up.
Just on that.
Phil Jones.
Oh yeah, Phil Jones. Yeah. No, he was great.
Just before we get off the goalkeeper topic, I'm going to bring up Matthew's comment here. It says Henderson looked poor versus Burnley, but Owen didn't comment? ? So that's obviously questioning your integrity. What are your thoughts on that comment there?
Well, what I think is, I do have to disagree with you there. I think that he isn't helped by some of the crackpots in our defence and the fact that Chris Wood. Fair enough. He's very good at what he does, and what he does is very little. But what he can do is, when the long ball comes over, he's a towering figure, and he tower above any key. I think maybe Neuer or ter Stegen probably wouldn't have been able to deal with that ball coming in. But what I would say is, I think on Darryl, on your point, that covers that silly comment from Matthew. But on Darryl's point about De Gea, De Gea only really being in the De Gea, we were second when De Gea was playing or whatever. Do you think, obviously he lost his place because he went to have a kid, but didn't he also lose his place because he wasn't that good? Especially when it comes to against Chelsea.
I don't think it was anything to do with not being
against Chelsea when he cost us Champions League. I just think once you do something like that, I don't think he deserves a reprieve.
Yeah, he's had some poor performances, but so has Hendo. Like the game against Burnley, I mean, I don't know why he didn't. Obviously, he didn't comment because you're a Hendo fan, but the Burnley game, he came out with his box more times than Manuel Neuer does, and he came out for the wrong
that's saying
reasons.
something.
There was balls where the defence had it covered, and he kept coming out, and it's just.
But isn't it better for have a keeper coming out than De Gea who cowers away in the corner?
He was very lucky. He was very lucky that first goal was offside by a toenail. Because if that goal had actually been given, he'd have been absolutely dropped. Probably be dropped if that had happened. Because there's no need to come out all that way. You don't need to come 20 yards off your line to try and get the ball when the defenders are, sort of dealing with it. It's a bit pointless, really. But all keepers have the occasional bad performances, but David De Gea should be number one and deserves to be number one. Henderson's only been number one at the minute because he's played every single game whilst De Gea's been away. But Henderson is not United's number one keeper. De Gea should be number one keeper and should be getting a lot more starts. Your number one keeper, your number one keeper cannot start more games than second goalkeeper, then there's something wrong. And that's all down to
Spider Cheater, thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing good. He also agrees Henderson was poor against Burnley. Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty consensus. I'm looking at the live chat.
First or second name?
I don't know, mate. To be honest with you, I don't know. It's a cool name. To be fair, I rate the name. I rate it.
I will say the comments you're flaring up here clearly show the chance agenda. But carry on. You're clearly not unbiased.
No, I'm a man of the people. I'm a man of the people, and I show what the people are saying, and they're saying that he was. Matthew also comments on Henderson saying he nearly cost us our place in Europa versus Milan, and Pogba bailed us out. But as I said, we're going to move on from the goalkeeper debate because we've been on it for a while.
What about the save for Ibrahimovic in the second leg?
I'll tell you what, while we're on the conversation of Pogba, I know you brought up in the live chat, so I guess we'll talk about it. Obviously, I haven't put Pogba in my predicted 11. Obviously you want Pogba to start. Where would you put him in?
I put him in the midfield with McTominay. I'd take
Right, so
Fred
let's
out.
get that up again.
I'd take Fred out because I think Fred's useless.
So there's the team. There's the team, right? Can you see the team on the screen there?
Yeah.
He is awful.
So where would you play him in that system there?
Instead of Fred.
So, okay.
Because Fred is...
So how...
Even you can admit that Fred is woeful. Fred is woeful, isn't he? Fred can't...
To be fair...
Fred couldn't pass wind.
But all I'm saying is this. Obviously, with the Pogba thing, we have sometimes fallen into the trap of playing in too far deep, and then when you play him deep, you don't get the best out of him. Because I think he's a world-class player, but when he plays further forward, when he's actually making stuff happen up front, when he's playing that kind of quarterback role, he can't really do as much as he wants. So, as I said, especially in a big game, I was just predicting that Ollie's going to go with McTominay and Fred because in these sort of big games, he's always cautious. He's always a bit defensive. So that's why I've gone with that. I can see where you're coming from.
You need your world-class players in the big games.
Well, I agree. I fully agree with that. But I'm saying as a prediction, I don't think Ollie's going to go with that.
This isn't the team you would pick. This is the team you think Ollie will go with.
Yeah. As I've mentioned multiple times.
You think Ollie will go with Cavani?
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know. I mean,
because Ollie doesn't
not,
like picking Cavani.
He does like picking Cavani. What are you on about?
Where was Cavani in the weekend? On the bench.
He started against Spurs.
Oh, this conversation's going nowhere.
Okay, fine. Spider Cheetah says cowardly Barley to use De Gea paternity leave and use it against him. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think he used it against him?
Don't clap that. Don't clap. That's a Spider Cheetah. I wholeheartedly disagree with you, mate. With the greatest respect, I think that's absolute nonsense.
And you keep saying with the greatest respect and then dissing someone. Go on, Dad. Sorry.
If someone has to go on paternity leave, you do not use it against them. It's not his fault that his wife's having a baby, is it? And it's not his fault that his wife needs him there. If his wife needs him there, he has to go there. It's simple as that. It's not his fault he's had to leave because of that. And you cannot use it against him. To use it against him is fucking wrong.
But he could have had a baby during the off-season.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean that's obviously.
He'd have to go on paternity leave, wouldn't he?
He might miss pre-season. Then what? What are you fining him for missing pre-season?
No, I think he's been dropped because he's passed it. To be perfectly honest, again with the greatest respect, with the greatest respect, he's passed it.
Well, you reckon? Okay, you reckon De Gea's passed it then?
Compared to Dean Henderson.
I'm not surprised. I'm going to be honest. I'm not surprised with that opinion, and we all know your thoughts on the Henderson De Gea debate. As I said, we're going to move on from that because I know we are. Time is ticking away here on Red Door Weekly. Rich says Fred is not great, but he always gets picked. I can see why he's in his predicted. Thank you very much, Rich. Appreciate that. He also says Cavani was rested for this game. That's what I'm saying. Cavani didn't play against Leeds because I feel like.
Didn't play against Leeds either, so
That's true. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if Pogba was in that starting 11. But all I'm saying is this, Solskjaer, being a striker himself, loves that main focal point up front. Whether it's Rashford, Greenwood, Martial, he doesn't like it when it's kind of there's no real striker. He wants a focal point there. With Cavani, that is why in the end we brought Cavani in because it gave us that focal point up front. And I think if Cavani's fit, he plays in this game. And also his form, you can't argue with his form. He scored a brilliant goal in the home leg against Granada in the quarterfinal. He's on brilliant form right now. So I don't think you can drop him. I really don't think you can drop him. Spider Cheers says no because Fred can tackle in and McTominay can't. I think McTominay is a better centre mid, not CDM. So there you go. So basically saying that actually Fred's better defensively than McTominay, but McTominay's better going forward. So actually, probably you'd have to swap out Pogba for McTominay instead of Fred.
McTominay's goal record is second to none this season.
But is he in the team to score goals?
Yep.
No.
Is he?
Is he not our Frank Lampard? Or?
Okay.
He's just better up front
Right.
than he does in defence, actually.
Yeah, well, there you go.
What I find interesting is you think that Green
Boy,
will
thanks for
start.
joining Vindula Cruz. Appreciate it. Guys, I think Van der Beek should replace Fred. There you go.
And that'd
What are
be
your thoughts?
a good shout.
Thank you.
Van der Beek getting in for Fred? Seems like you're getting support Vin. Well, play the Fernandes, Van der Beek and Pogba just go all out.
Who's going to defend? We're just going to concede 3 goals.
Oh, so now you want defenders? Ah, I see. Okay.
No, but we need a defensive-minded midfielder in there.
Okay, so who are you keeping in? Fred and McTominay.
I'm keeping McTominay in.
So
haven't you heard what we've been trying to say? Fred is useless.
But
No, but what you're...
McTominay is the box a minute. He's attacking
Well,
more than he's defending.
Yeah, but that's why you put Van der Beek or Pogba in Fred's position, so they can do both. They can go.
This is what we're saying is that realistically, you're talking about how McTominay's goal record is this and that. You're not talking about his defensive play. So if we are going to play,
Defensive.
okay. Was Frank Lampard any good at defending?
I mean, he's okay, I guess.
Well,
He was okay. Okay. So okay. You probably, I'll ask Daz. I'll come to you, Daz, first. On my predicted 11, is there anything you would change?
Well, I'd put Pogba in to start off with. I'm not sure about Van der Beek.
Okay.
Van der Beek just doesn't start games. Would I start Greenwood and James? Yeah, most likely. I don't think I'd change anything in that. I mean, it's fine. I do think he'll stick to the same formation. He doesn't change formation, and that's his problem.
No.
Because we haven't got any out-and-out wingers, really. Rashford and Greenwood are meant to be wingers, but they don't play particularly well as wingers. They play better left mid and right mid, really. So, be interesting to see if he did play the 4-3-3. But I hardly doubt it. I doubt he'd switch his formation. Because you know what he's like. He just says, "Oh, right, it's another game, same formation, same system. Go out there, do the job as usual," and I mean, end up conceding about 4 or 5 goals because of it. So there you go. But no, I want him to change the system, but it's not going to happen. It isn't.
All right then. Owen, mate, I think you've already made your opinions heard on that one. But what would you change on my lineup?
Well, I mean, apart from Fred in that midfield, I can't see what's bad about it really. I mean, I would play Pogba instead of Fred, and possibly try and stick Van der Beek in instead of McTominay. But I don't know.
I mean, I'm not balanced.
Well, I don't. I'm just tempted to because I don't rate Roma at all. So I feel like but I think
This is definitely coming back to on you. By the way, all this stuff about you saying that, mate, I'm telling you, this is you saying this is going to fuck us over. You are jinxing us right here. But this whole time, whether you've been saying, oh, Roma, oh, I'll tell you what, Leeds is going to be a bit more difficult than Roma. All this bravado you've been doing.
Well, we'll see.
Well, we will see. But if we go out, I'm blaming you. That's all I'm saying. By the way, I want to say as well, Let's Talk Premier League. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. I'd said it. Their link in the description down below. I'll be on their channel at 9. I'm not sure if it could be Niall, could be others. I'm not sure who's the admin of that account. But if it is Niall, how you doing, mate? I'll be joining them at 9. The link's in the description down below, so make sure you guys get over there for 9. Looking forward to it. But yeah, cheers for joining. But he actually agrees. He says, United and Ollie have the most predictable system. I love it. And he also says, nah, this guy's right. Roma ain't nothing special. So there you go. So everyone's agreeing with you, mate.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the big game we're talking about. You're saying it's the biggest game of the season. I think our biggest game of the season is Liverpool on. No, this
is what I'm saying though. We've got the league, we've got the Champions League top 4 wrapped up.
We don't want the satisfaction of pushing them down to the Europa League next season.
No, but this is we can't just focus on them.
You don't want that.
We got to focus on our own season. And for our own season, this is our most important game because this is exactly.
No,
Thank you,
I
Darryl.
think-
Appreciate it.
I'll focus on Roma. And I said, I've looked. They're not even impressive on highlights. And the team we played before, I've literally just forgotten. Who did we play before? Granada.
What, Leeds? Oh, Granada. Right, sorry.
Granada.
Yep.
They looked impressive on the highlights. They look really good on the highlights. Roma don't even look good on the highlights.
Well, no, but listen, you've got to respect them. You've got to respect them.
They don't show the full game.
Yeah.
Well, no,
but
exactly.
You can't just say they're not good by the highlights. They don't.
No, but listen. Maybe I'm.
They're 2 minutes.
Maybe I'm a little bit cautious. Maybe I'm a little bit cautious, right? Maybe
Not
I'm a little
really,
bit cautious. But what? Right. Well, thanks for that. But all I'm saying is this: any team that gets to a semi-final of a European competition, you've got to respect them. Even if on paper we should be wiping the floors with these guys, we should be because on paper we're the better team.
It's
There's no doubt about it.
up. That's going to be clipped off, isn't it?
No. I'm saying on paper we should wipe the floor with them. On paper, and it's true. On paper, look at our form. Look at our team. We should be wiping the floor with them. But you have to respect any team that gets to Europa League semi-final, in my opinion. But you're not respecting them. That's all I'm going to say.
I respect them. I say they're not that good.
That's very respectful. I'm sure they'll love that. Spider Cheetah says, is there any update on Martial? He's been out for over a month. Shame because he just came off a good game versus City. He did, to be fair. But I think he might be back for the last few games of the season. Oh, so Daz, you're not asked about Martial leaving?
No, he's been poor this season.
Yeah, I think lack of consistency massively for me. I'll tell you what, on that comment, Owen, what are your thoughts? Martial staying? Are you one of those Martial fans that want him to stay? Do you reckon he could still contribute, or do you reckon he'll be better at another club?
No, I'm quite the opposite. I've seen enough of Martial to know that all the stuff that people say about him is quite inflated. If I have to be honest, I think that Martial is.
Someone's been eating his feet.
It's a fan. He's a fan's favourite by half the fan base, so he's not really a fan's favourite. And I think with Martial, I'd wish him good luck in the future, but he just doesn't fit us, to be honest. I'd rather have Cavani up front, who actually gets into the box, rather than someone like Martial, who, whenever he gets in the box, looks like a rabbit in the headlights, and doesn't know what to do.
So he's a Timo Werner then.
Yeah, exactly. He's a Timo Werner. He's our Timo Werner.
It's Timo Werner.
But you can't deny what he did last season. Just to play devil's advocate, you can't deny on Red Door Weekly playing devil's advocate.
Good Man United YouTube channel, devil's advocate.
I thought it would be. I might make that into a show. Actually, might make that into a show. We'll copyright that just in case.
Cavani is a very good striker to have at the back end of the season. Like, he's so experienced. He moves. He gets in the right place. We are blessed to have Cavani right now in these games. But I think really get rid of Martial, sell him off, pull him off to France or wherever he wants to go to. He can go to Arsenal. He can go to Arsenal and do whatever there. I don't really care. But
he'll probably score against us.
Yeah, he probably will, but it'll be the only goal he scores in that season. But I'll tell you what, he'll use the money and sign Harry Kane. Sign Harry Kane. Is Joel Glaze still?
What, are you Roy Keane?
Is Joel Glaze still in the chat?
Nah, Joel Glaze left, mate. He left.
Sign Harry Kane. Sign Harry Kane, you American bum.
To be fair, I'd rather him sell than do that. To be fair.
Oh, I love the owners.
There's more chance of United.
Right, where's the block button? Is there a block button?
Oh, by the way, just want to say, Carn City for tonight. Carn City.
Why are you on this channel? Anyway,
tonight, Neymar and Mbappe, brilliant. I wonder what's everyone's prediction for that game, because I think PSG.
Is this your stream, by the way?
No, I just want to say I think PSG are gonna. No, PSG, Man City. I think PSG are gonna run them ragged, because when we did the Etihad, they've got that times 3 with Mbappe and Neymar, so they're gonna run them ragged, and all the English press will have to sit down when PSG are 2-0 up tonight.
Go on, Daz.
I think PSG will only win 2-1. Sadly, I can see Man City getting an away goal.
Because
they got lucky against Bayern.
Not But
PSG got lucky against Bayern.
I was absolutely. I was so living because Bayern must have had about 50 shots and he only scored 3.
Yeah.
Oh well.
That's true. I think PSG will go through, to be fair.
It's not just that, but the goals that they scored as well. Like the goals they scored were pathetic. First one should never have gone in. Mbappe being the forward as usual. Neymar couldn't even score a sweaty. He's probably the biggest forward in the world at the minute. He's useless. And then also Leroy Sané can get out of the club. He's pretty useless. Every single game in the Bundesliga as well, he's useless. He cannot put a single shot in the back of the net. He's absolutely.
Mbappe had Boateng on toast.
So it was Sané really. I tell you what, it'd be Oil Club v Oil Club tonight, so it'd be interesting to see which Oil Club wins. Come on, Oil Club. Oh, that's
It'd be a very slippery affair. A very slippery affair.
Right, but back onto the Roma game just quickly. Niall saying, hold up, Liverpool game is more important than the European semi-final. Seriously.
It was in peace.
Good one, Daryl.
Oh, and
So
your
what was
thoughts
your
on his
question?
comments on... Niall's he's just commenting on what you said about how you thought the Liverpool game is more important than the European semi-final. What are your thoughts on that, man?
Well, Niall, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, Niall, and coming away from your busy schedule from brilliant Let's Talk Premier League videos. What I will say to that comment is that I believe that the Liverpool game is more important because I want to see Liverpool. I want to see the absolute hurt in Liverpool fans' eyes when we take them down to the Europa League and they know they'll never be back. They can't sign any good players because they'll be in the Europa League. And to be honest, I think Roma are rubbish.
Right now, yes, but you can't.
Has Mbappe scored?
We all want the Scousers to do cack, but they haven't started yet.
Oh.
Oh no, they have started.
No spoilers, mate. No spoilers.
Oh, have they even started? I don't know.
Well, anyway, Kieran,
Oh no, they have just.
I might go and I'm probably going to start watching this game now, Kieran, so I might be off.
All right, okay, quickly, what's your score prediction then, before you go?
4-0 to Manchester United.
All right, then. Well, cheers for your time.
Right, see you, Daryl. See you, Kieran.
Right, we're about to finish up anyway, so, but yeah, cheers for coming on.
See you tomorrow.
Bye. Oh, yeah, see ya.
See, there you go, that was
Jeez.
that. But anyway, I'll read the last few comments and I'll ask you for your prediction, then we will leave it there for tonight. Go on, Daz.
Yeah. Just to let you know, if you can hear any hammering in the background, next door we're doing loads of hammering. He's been doing it for the past
even
week
still
and a
now?
half, at least, the guy next door.
Still at this hour? Still at 8 o'clock?
I mean, he's obviously slept. He's obviously been to sleep.
Oh, right, so he's still doing it.
Oh no, he's been hammering around his house, but he's sorting his drive out and stuff for the past week and a half.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, that's a bit annoying.
Oliver, and then bum, bum, bum.
Oh god. But anyway, yeah, a few more comments.
Midnight, so that's fine.
Yeah, this was not too bad then. Rich says, still think Kieran works for the Glazers. Obviously, Owen's gone. He can't answer that, but I'm sure he would say yes. And Matthew says, Bayern made a lot of chances, just didn't score. Man City will beat them. So there you go. So Matthew's predicting Man City will go through in that one. But anyway, focusing back on this game, the last...
Leroy Sané.
But the last thing I want to ask you is your prediction for this game. What is your prediction?
So I think it'll be a tighter game. It certainly won't be 4-0. 4-0's very optimistic, but there's more chance of Arsenal winning the Champions League than that ever happening, which is highly unlikely. But I can't see it being an easy game. I know people say, well, nothing, blah blah. On paper, they're a really good side, and in the Europa League, they've shown that. You know, they've knocked out Ajax, and I think a lot of people had Ajax as the favourites. They're known for scoring goals. They've got Mickey, they've got Smalling, who's also a bit of a hard nut to crack sometimes, especially in these competitions.
Mm.
And I didn't think he was too bad for United either. I'd actually take him over Harry Maguire in fairness. It'd be interesting to see how
playing centre back
defence do against the likes of.
Oh, sorry, Chris Smalling. You meant Chris Smalling.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris Smalling. Yes, I mean he's not.
So no, for some reason I thought you meant Mikytaryan. For some reason I thought you were saying Mikytaryan play centre back.
Oh, Mikytaryan. Oh. No.
Sorry, carry on.
But it'd be interesting to see what happens. I think it'll be a tight game. I do, however, believe that we'll concede an away goal. I don't want to. I mean, I hate to say that, but I just don't think at home, especially in competitions at home, our defence in home games is not as good. Away from home, they're normally better. And it's shown that this season with our away record, we're only losing like 3 away games all season. 4 away games all season, I mean. But with regards to home games, we're a bit hit and miss sometimes. We'll have one good game or we'll have one pretty terrible game or we'll just play it out for a draw. If we don't concede an away goal, that's crucial for us, but I don't think we'll get a clean sheet. I think we'll beat them. But I'm going to go 2-1. And then we just have to focus on trying to get an away goal or try not to concede at the Stadio Olimpico, which is not going to be easy either. Because they're quite good at home.
Yeah, not bad. And listen,
it is difficult.
It is difficult because, as I said, their league form is shocking. Won in their last 5. The last team they beat was was it like Girona or someone like that? But yeah, they're not good in the league, but like they seem like a cup team, and that's the one thing you've got to be wary of. These cup teams. I don't know. I can't.
Because being honest.
Yeah, in the Serie A.
No, if you're on about the Serie A, you must be on about Genoa, because Girona are in the Spanish league.
Sorry, mate. As I said, as you can tell, my knowledge of the Serie A isn't all there, to be honest. 5-0 United. I love that. I love the prediction. I doubt it though, but I love it. Rich says you never know. 4-0 Sociedad. It's true. Before the Sociedad game, I actually remember being on Rich's channel and saying, this game's going to be close, and it wasn't. It was one-way traffic. Matthew saying a KG 1-0.
We all thought that because at the time when we got the draw, they were top of the league. They were high flying.
That's true.
And they were really good form. They came into the game, and simply they didn't turn up. So it's all about turning up on the day, really, isn't it?
Well, of course, that's the thing.
If you don't turn up, you've had it.
In Europa League football, that's all about. That's what it's all about. In knockout football, it's about who turns up on the day. I mean, Chelsea are definitely not as good as Man City. Yeah, they beat them 1-0. So that's how cup football works. Finally, let's talk Premier League now. Says Ollie will play Diallo, Van der Beek, and Tuanzebe. If he does, I will personally hand you £5. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'll personally send you £5 because there's no way that's going to happen. But I mean, I think United fans wouldn't mind it. I'm telling you, United fans would love it to happen. United fans would love it, but I just doubt it. But we'll see. Ollie can be a bit of a maverick. And finally, Rich goes with a 2-0 win to United. But on that note, Darryl, it's been great having you. Thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate it. Thanks to Owen as well. Really good to have you guys on. Make sure to check out Daz's Football Stand as well. Brilliant content on his channel. Also check out Let's Talk Premier League, which I'll be live on their channel with the panel on there at 9 PM. So make sure to check the link in the description down below and click it at 9. Get in the live chat. Have your say. Represent the Red Doll Weekly family. And also make sure to check out Rich Sports as well. Brilliant stuff on Rich's channel. Give him a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Brilliant stuff over there. But anyway, until tomorrow, thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Hit that like button if you're watching as a video. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Thank you very much for being in my company tonight, and I will see you in the next one. But until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in a bit.